Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video we are going to continue with the more about polynomials revision part. That means in the previous video we went through some of the concepts, and then now in this video I'll be doing the questions so that your concepts are 100% clear. Obviously if you have the worksheet, it's good, you can try on your own first these questions. If you want these worksheets, you can also email me or tell me in the comment section your email maybe, or if you have my WhatsApp or HKDSE Topics, then you can also text me there to get the worksheets. Anyways, let's get started. Even if you don't have it, you can always pause the video and do the question first and then check the answer. So this one first. Now let fx be something something something, because it's too long, the function is too long, so that's why we let it, the whole thing, the name is fx. And then we want to see if something, this x minus 5 is a factor of this whole thing or not. Of course, one way is you can do a long division, divide by this thing and see if there's remainder in the end or not. But do we have that much time? No, we do not have that much time. So what we do is use the remainder theorem. Remainder theorem means find the value of x from here, substitute it back, then you can find the remainder. And if there is no remainder, or we say remainder is 0, that means that thing is a factor. So this one, I want to check if x minus 5 is a factor or not. So what shall I substitute x with? X minus 5, let it be 0 first to find out the value of x. It should be 5. So if x is 5, then I substitute it back to the function. If the answer is 0, then it is a factor. If the answer is not a 0, it is not a factor. So part A first, f5. Let's see what you can get to. 5 cube minus 5 square. Cube means the power here, the flying number here is a 3. If the flying number or the power is 2, it's called square. 37 times 5 plus 60. Now that all of these are numbers, please just click calculator. Yay, you can get the answer as 0. What if you don't get 0? That means you did something wrong, because the question asks you show that. That means you have to prove that this is a factor. You may see the wordings like show that or prove, and then you will have to find out it's 0. If the questions give you is x minus 5 a factor of fx question mark, that means it's not a must that it's a factor. Then you will have to click it nicely and see what's the answer. Now that it's 0 remainder, so we can say x minus 5 is a factor of fx. Okay, until here. Then how about part B, factorize? What does factorize mean? Factorize means in the answer, in the last answer, you need to have brackets. If there isn't brackets, then it's not totally factorized. So how do I do this one? And how do I do that? I don't know this one. Well, that's where you have to remember this thing, 7 divided by 2, which is 3, and then 1. 2 times 3 plus 1. But what if there's no remainder? For example, 6 divided by 2. It will be 2 times 3, 6, and then 0. That means 6 equals to 2 times 3. And the 7 equals to 2 times 3 plus 1. Right? This one has a factor. This one does not have. This one has a remainder 1. This one does not have any remainder. That means these two are the factors. Same goes for this one. If there's no remainder, everything will be multiplied in the end. But before that, I also need to know the divisor and the quotient. How do I know from this one? This whole long thing is the 1 6 here. That means a dividend. And then I'm dividing it by what? I will have to divide it by a factor so that there's no plus minus in the end. So this is what you have to divide by. So let's do that. Let's do that here. Because long division, it's gonna take you time if you don't have the program. Well, if you need the program, you can also let me know, because program is very useful if you are doing it for DSE. But if it's for school, you need to show the steps. Long division you don't have to, I mean, like this whole process no need, but all the other steps you have to show it very careful. So it's better that you also know the long division. Okay, here, how do I do this? First of all, x times what will be 2x cubed. So deal with numbers first. It's a hidden 1 here. 1 times what is 2? 2. And then we have a single x here and the cube x here. So I will need x square more, like 2, okay? Now I know that x times 2x square is 2x cubed. This part is clear. But I haven't used this -5. So I also have to do this with this one. -5 times 2x square. It will be -10x squared. Now both of them are done, right? So we draw a line there. And there's always a hidden minus. You don't have to write. 2 minus 2, 0. -5 minus -10. Please, please, please click calculator. -5 minus -10. You get the answer as a positive number, okay? And all the other things just copy down. Okay, this one, -5 minus -10, you get positive 5x squared. Copy down, copy down. Now this is your new dividend. Let's assume this is your new dividend. And again you divide by this thing. So x times what will be 5x squared? Number first, 1 times what is 5? 1 times 5. Good. So I will do plus 5, and then there's a single x, you need x squared, so you add one more x. So 5x. So x times 5x, you can get 5x squared. Alright, and then again I can't leave this -5 alone, so I will also do it together. -5 times this 5x, -25x. Everything is done, draw the line. After drawing the line, then you do the hidden minus again. 5 minus 5, done. -37, please click calculator, but when you click, remember there's no answer in front. -37 minus -25, again what do you get? You should be able to get, your answer is -12. And other things just copy down. Until here, okay, right? And then now let's continue. This is again your new dividend, and then you're dividing it by this x again. So x times what is -12x? -12, of course. There's already an x there. And then I also can't leave this -5. -5 times -12, you can get +60. Draw the line. They both are same, so that means there's no remainder. Make sure there is no remainder, because this is a factor. There should not be any remainder with it. So in other words, this fx is actually this times this as well. So we can rewrite the whole thing. B part, our fx is actually that divisor times the quotient, okay, and plus the remainder, but remainder is 0 now. Now, am I done? How do I know if I'm done? Well, you can check the first part. Can it be further simplified? Nope. How about this part? We can. How? Well, first of all, do you see there's a square? If you see there's a square, that means a quadratic equation, which means you can use formula 01 in calculator, so you can further simplify that. Okay, you should be able to get your answer as -4 and also 3/2. If you get that, so you can rewrite in the brackets. Until here, all okay, right? Now, how about if some of you don't have the calculator for this part? You can still do it, of course, this part. Then you will have to think, how is 2x squared made? It's made by 2x times x. And how is -12 made? It can be made by -4, +3. It can be made by 12, -1. It could be made by -3 and 4. Which one should I be using? I'll use this one. Why is that the case? After that, cross. Here, 8x. Here, -3x. So 8 minus 3, you can get 5x, which matches the one in the middle. Until here, okay, right? But what if that is correct, then you just add brackets and those will be your answers. What if I had used -4 and +3? What do I make? -4 here, 6 here. So 6 minus 4, 2x. But this 2x does not meet the one in the middle, so it will be wrong. That's why I will only be using 2x minus 3 and then x plus 4. Cool? Easy? Good. If you're okay with this question, we continue. Now again you have to show if something is a factor or not, but before that you need to find out the value of x, right? So 4x plus 5 equals to 0. 4x equals to -5. 5 goes there, it becomes negative. And then x will be -5/4. You can use -5/4, or if you like in decimal places, that's also okay. I personally prefer fractions to decimals. Okay, so you are replacing x as the -5/4. So let's check. Will it be a factor or not? So replace all the x by -5/4. Okay? Square plus -5/4 minus 5. And what do you get? Click calculator, the whole thing. 0. So 4x plus 5 is a factor of fx. Until here, all okay, right? In the part B, again we have to factorize. Remember the wordings? In the end, you will need brackets. But to get the brackets, you need to do the long divisions, because this will be times with this one. So what do I divide by? Divide by the factor that you're given or that you have found it. Alright, so let's do the long division for this part as well. You have the long thingy. Make sure everything is in order. 3, 2, 1, and constant. I mean the powers. 3, 2, 1, constant. Sometimes they don't give it in order. If that's the case, you have to turn it back into the order. Okay, here. First of all, 4x times what will be 8x cube. 4 times what is 8? 2. We have a single x here. We need cube. So you need x squared more. So 4x times 2x squared, you can get 8x cubed. And again, we can't leave this positive 5 alone. So you also do with that. And you will have 5 times 2, 10x squared. Both things are done. Draw the line. There's a hidden minus. 8 minus 8, 0. 14 minus positive 10, 4x squared. And all the other things just copy down. And then we do it again. 4 times what will be 4x squared plus 1. And then x. 4x squared. We can't leave that 5 alone. So 5 times x, 5x. Alright. Then let's just continue. 1 minus 4 minus 4 is 0, and then 1 minus 5, you can have -4x minus 5. And then now again 4 times what is -4x? 4 times -1, because you need the negative sign. So -4x, and then 5 times -1, -5. And that's the end. And make sure there is no fraction, no remainder in the end. If there is a remainder, then you did something wrong in the calculation. So now you have the divisor, you have the quotient, and you have the remainder 0. So you can do part B. Part B, fx will equals to divisor times the quotient plus the remainder. Remainder is 0, so no need to write it. And is that the end? How do I know? I will have to check by using the formula 01 in calculator, because this has a square. So 4x plus 5 from here. And then here I will get 2x minus 1. Click calculator and x plus 1. And that will be your final answer. This was much quicker in question 1, right? After doing every question, remember to digest it, do it again or whatsoever, and make sure you're 100% clear of the topic, because this is gonna come every single year in your exams, not just school exams but also the DSE exams. All right, this is a very big topic. Let's just continue. Question 3. So now again you're given your fx. I personally prefer writing once whatever information is given. Not all the English, just the maths things. Because it gives me some kinds of security maybe. So this is your fx, and now fx is divided by this thing. When it's divided by this thing, the remainder is this thing. So you're using the remainder theorem. So when fx is divided by this thing, so what should I replace the x by? By 1. So f1, the remainder will be negative 30. So all the x's are replaced by 1 now, and the answer will be equals to negative 30. So I replace the x by negative 1 first. And then what do you get? Equals to negative 30. So because the first few are just numbers, so you can click it in calculator and see what do you get. And if you can get the answer is 22, that means you might be correct. And then I just need to find out k, right? Even if the question doesn't ask you to find out k, make sure you find it, or else they won't have that unknown in the question. They will indirectly ask you. They don't directly write it to find this, find that, but you're supposed to find everything. So this 22 here is positive. If you go to the other side, it will be negative. So k is negative 52. Now k is done. How about b part? B is asking, is x minus 4 a factor or not? How do I know that, miss? Well, remember the previous questions? Is something is a factor or not? Is something is a factor or not? How did we do it? We do the substitution way, right? So x minus 4 here. So let it be 0, x is 4. So I check out if f4 is equals to 0 or not. If the remainder by using f4 is 0, then that is a factor. So let's input it back. 4 cubed minus 8 4 squared plus 29 bracket 4, and then k is negative 52. Remember to replace it back for the k. And then you are lucky to find out that the answer is actually 0, right? And if your answer is 0, then that is a factor. If your answer is, let's say, 22, 23, 24 or something like that, then it's not a factor. Only when the answer is 0, then it is a factor. Good with this question, right? This was good, I think, until now. Okay, then next one. Let fx be this thing, because I am too lazy, so let me just write it. Fx is this thing, because I don't want to read the question again and again and again and again and again and again. So I prefer writing it down. It helps my brain too. When fx is divided by this thing, the remainder is this thing. If it's divided by something, remainder something, we use the remainder theorem. So f2 will equals to negative 275. Is divided by x minus 2. So you do that as 0 first and find out the value of x and then substitute back. Now outside there is some function going, so you might hear some other noises. I'm sorry for that part because I couldn't find in much quieter place for now. So I replace the x by 2. So 4, 2 cubed plus k, 2 squared minus 96, 2 minus 63, and the answer should equals to negative 275. That 275 came from here, not by myself. And all the others, if that's numbers, please click in calculator together. 4 times 2 cubed minus 96 times 2 minus 63. You should be able to get that as negative 223. Is that? And then how about here? 2 square means 4. So 4k here. What do I do next? You can find out the value now. K, 4k will be negative 275 plus 223. So negative 275. You should be get the k as, negative 4k as negative 52, and then k as negative 52 divided by 4, which is negative 13. So now that you found out k, let me just make the whole thing a little smaller. It's using too much space. You just found out k. We still haven't done the question. That's why I was saying, even if the question does not give you anything, you have to find the knowns. That will make the questions easier. Now, what was part A asking? Is that a factor or not? Is something is a factor or not? If something is divided by something, the remainder is something something. So it's all of the time asking the same thing. So you will find F7 and see what the answer is. And if you're lucky enough, then you will have that whole thing as a 0. If that whole thing is a 0, that means it is a factor. So let's just hurry. Lucky, just click the calculator. It is 0. And if that is 0, then x minus 7 is a factor of fx. That is your part A. Part A only. Yes. And the part B, you have to do fx equals to 0. And they find that all the roots means answers or solutions, are all the roots real number or not? What is real number? Wow, Miss, there are imaginary numbers as well? Of course, yes. Have you never saw this letter I? Those are imaginary numbers. You will learn it later, or maybe you have already learned it. Let's see. So, how do I know if there is a real number or not? Real number, basically, you can divide it this way, that from your formula 0, 1, after doing the long division, factorization, if your formula 0, 1, you can get pretty answers. I mean, there are answers, then it is real number. But if you don't get any answers, then it is not a real number. Like you get math error. Math error, you might get it sometimes. We will have it, those situations in the following questions. If you get math error, then it's wrong. So I do that first, fx equals to 0, because that's what the question gave me. So I do that. What is my fx? My fx at this moment, it's still this one. But if I have the cubic equation, I don't know how to find the x. If it was a square, miss, I could do formula 0, 1, but then cube. Miss, you're playing with us, right? Not yet. So what I do here will be long division. Again, that's such a long one, but then you need to learn how to do it, or there are programs for it. And since you don't have the program right now, you will have to do this. And this thing I need to divide it by. Remember to ask for extra sheets in exam if you need it, because you do need a lot of space. You need to divide it by your factor. We divide it by factor because the remainder will be 0, so you don't have to do much things. So let's do this quickly. X times what is 4x squared? 4x squared. Oh, that was cube. That's why I gave a square. That's 1 here, 2 more. And then negative 7 times 4x squared. Negative 28x squared. Both things are done. Draw the line with a hidden minus. 4 minus 4, 0. And then negative 13 minus negative 28, you can get 15x squared. Copy other things down. And then x times what is 15? X times 15x. So 15x squared. And then negative 7 times 15, you can get negative 105. I just hope I'm doing it correctly. 15 minus 15, done. Negative 96 minus the negative 105, you can get 9x minus 63. Copy down the other things. And then x times what is 9x? 9. So 9x. And then negative 7 times 9, negative 63. Everything is done. Make sure there is no remainder. If that's it, then you are correct. If you get a remainder, that means you did something wrong. So I will have that on the side. Okay. Because those steps are not to be shown to the markers. So this is actually x minus 7. And then on top, you have 4x squared plus 15x plus 9. How do I make 0? So anything times 0 will equal to 0. So that means even from here, either of them has to be 0. Alright. Yes, if you had the formula 0, 1, you should be doing those two in 2 more brackets. But if you, because this time you just need to find the answers. That's why I could do it directly like this. If the question asks you to factorize, then you have to write the next step. From here, x will be positive 7. But from here, just click from the 0, 1, and what do you get? 4, 15, and 9, right? So you get your x as negative 3 over 4, and the other one as negative 3. Or. So from here we know that x, this is an integer, this is a fraction, this is an integer. So these are all real numbers. If you could not get the answer for this part, then it will not be all as real. This will still be real, but not all. This will have unreal solutions if this was giving you a math error or something else. Okay, cool. So because they are all real solutions, so we will say all real roots. So is that the claim correct? The claim is correct. Okay, then let's just continue. Next one. You are given two different parts. Fx is this thing and fx is that thing. If that is the case, what we do is actually comparing the coefficients. I hope I can finish this question within next 8 to 9 minutes because bell will ring and then the class this will be noisy. So fx, the first thing I get is 3x cubed plus x squared plus kx plus 4. And then from the other side I also get that it's x minus 1 and then ax squared plus bx plus c. Both of them are same thing because it is still fx. Now one way is that you can do long division by this thing, but then when I do long division, this is also unknown. So it's not a good method. So what other way is that I will have to open up, rainbow method, rainbow method, rainbow method. And then we will compare their coefficients. So this part first, ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx minus ax squared minus bx minus c. Now that you are all done, we compare the coefficients. Coefficients means the numbers or the values next to the unknowns or the domains. So let's compare the coefficients by comparing. You can write these words, up to you. You don't get extra marks. By comparing the coefficients of x cubed. X cubes first. From my first part, the things next to the x cube is 3. So I will have that 3. How about from the second part, I have is just the a. So you will write equals to a. So a is 3. Oh, that's your first value. That's the first unknown. Now that you're done with x cube, let's find all the x squares. From my first side, x squares is this one. And then here, I have x squared here and also here. So make sure you write both of them. From the above part is just 1. And then from the bottom part is b minus a. Do I know any of these values? Yes, I know the a value. A value from where? From the first part. So I will replace that. 1 equals to b minus 3. And this negative 3 goes to the other side. It will be 1 plus 3. And so b is 4. So you have two values, you just have one more c left. Where is c? C is here, c is also here. And also here. Let's see this last one. What's so special? This last one is not having any of the x. But we will need those x's later on. Let's just do that. We can compare all the constants. If it does not have any x's, then we call it constants. From the first part, we have positive 4. Then from the second part, we have negative c. And we don't need that negative, so give it to the other side. So c is negative 4. So that's it. You can have both of your answers, all three answers, A, B, C. Do I need to find k? It's up to you. K is with the x. So after comparing x cubed, x squared, and the constant, you can also compare the x. K will equals to c minus b. Because you already know the value of c and b, so you can do that. And then you will find k very easily. That's for part A, but because the question just asks you for A, B, and C, so I'm ending here. And then part B, let's see what it's asking. They are saying fx equals to 0 now. And find out the roots. Roots means find out the values of x, find out the x, and see if they are rational or not. Rational means the answer is either integers or fractions. That means pretty answers basically. So how do I do that? And what is my fx first of all? Which one should I use, this one or this one? Well, when you have to find the answers in the end, you need to have it in brackets. So that's why it's better if I use the second version, this part. Alright, if I use this one, it will be easier. So fx is x minus 1. What is my a? A is 3. So 3x squared. B is 4 minus c. So c is 4. Negative 4 equals to 0. So either this thing is 0 or that thing is 0. So I do that. X minus 1 equals to 0. Or 3x squared plus 4x minus 4 equals to 0. From here, I found out x is 1. How about the other one? It has a square, so you can do from the 0, 1, 3, 4, negative 4. You should be able to get your answer as x as 2 over 3 and negative 2. And are these all rationals? This is an integer, this is an integer, this is a fraction. So yes, they are all rational numbers. What do I mean by irrational then? Irrational means maybe, let's say this number, square root 3. Can you click this in calculator? You get 1.732050808, right? And if you click ABC, can you ever turn it to fraction? No. So this will be called irrational. Okay, so that's it. And then these numbers, this was 0.666666 unlimited 6. But then if you click ABC, you still will get the fraction. If you can get the fraction, or if they are integers like whole numbers, then it's called rational. But if you don't get the fractions or the integers, then it is not a rational number. That will be irrational. Alright, so that's it for this video. I have more questions, of course, but then because of the time limit, and I am at a private place, so I have to make the other videos in next lesson. I mean, in the coming time. So till then, see you, tada, bye. But you can try to do next question on your own. Here is the question. You can pause the video and do it. Allah Hafiz. See you next time. Allah Hafiz.